Hi YouTube, it's Michelle. Welcome to my channel. I love to cook, I'm just not that good at it. And I want to show you what I'm working on right now. And it is my version of a Cuban sandwich. And what I'm using, now I've read a lot about Cuban sandwiches and there's a lot of different opinions about what's the best, but there are certain things that are necessary to have in it. So I'm going to show you. I am using a roast pork. It's a pork shoulder that we barbecued outside on the grill. Didn't put anything in it. We didn't marinate it in anything. Didn't do any brine. Didn't do any dry rub. Nothing. Just pork and grill, charcoal and wood. And we have some apple wood on our property because we have some apple trees. So we put different types of wood in that, and it's smoked, and it tastes fabulous. So that's what I'm using for the pork roast. We also have sliced ham, which is another requisite. And I'm using this brand, Natural Choice. It doesn't have any nitrites or nitrates. It's not cured. So we don't like to use anything that's cured if we can avoid it. And another requisite is Swiss cheese, and we're just using, Walmart, brand, just general Swiss cheese. And another thing that you have to have in it is pickles. Now, some people say that you need sweet pickles and you slice them, like a chip style. And some people say they need to be dill. Well, my favorite pickles are Mount Olive kosher dills, and so that's what I'm using. And another requisite, of course, is mustard. Some people use Dijon. Some people use just yellow or a combination. Another argument is you have to have one side with mayonnaise and one side with mustard. I happen to love both mayonnaise and mustard, so I put one side with mustard, which I'll show you over here. The sandwich is kind of halfway done, or at least halfway uh, put together. I won't say done. Um, One side, this one has a combination of mayonnaise and mustard. You see, I slather it because I think more is better than less. And the excess I put on top of the pork that I layered here. This side of the bread has just mustard on it. Um, so what I did was I layered a whole package of this ham, Natural Choice. This is honey deli ham. I guess you can use what you want, what you like. Um, I did a whole layer of the ham on top of the mustard, and then I did the pork. I just layered, pieces and pulled pieces of that pork. And I took the excess of the mayonnaise and the mustard that I had on the other side of the bread and dolloped that on top. Now that's not traditional either, but I'm not Cuban. So um this is I love to cook, I'm just not that good at it. So what another thing that I'm going to be using that is non-traditional, but I want to use it because I like spice, is pepperoncini. Now this is a hot um, pickled pepper. It's Italian. I'm not sure what the pepper is called, if it's like just a baby cubanelle or something like that, but they're pickled and they're hot. And cubanelles aren't hot. But anyhow, it's called pepperoncini, and I chopped it up, some of it. I'm not using a whole bunch, but I chopped it up and I'm going to put that on it. I was thinking about putting jalapenos because I do like spice, but I think that jalapenos, I'm not sure. I don't think they would work as well as the pepperoncini. I like the pepperoncini because it really has a nice tang as well as heat. Okay, so I'm going to put this together, and I'm going to show you what it looks like after I put it together. And then I'm going to take it out onto the gas grill instead of pressing it in an and cooking it on a stove or in an oven or whatever. I'm using our gas grill because it's summer, it's hot out, it's hot in here. I'm not going to heat up the kitchen. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to do. and I'll show you what it looks like. Hi again. Okay, I'm just going to show you what stage I'm at right now. Um, After the dollop of the excess mayonnaise and mustard. And by the way, the mayonnaise that I use is Hellman's. Um, that is our favorite. It's I guess west of the Mississippi. I think it's called Best Foods. East of the Mississippi, it's Hellman's, and that's the best brand, and that's the one that we use all the time, unless I make my own. So anyhow, I layered on the pepperoncini underneath the cheese and put on the layer of Swiss, and you want to be generous with the Swiss, from what I understand. By the way, Swiss cheese is the cheese that you have to use for a Cuban sandwich. It cannot be any other kind, But you should do whatever you want. But then it wouldn't be an authentic Cuban, and it's not really authentic Cuban because I put pepperoncini on it. But whatever. So now I'm going to put the layer of pickles on top of the cheese, and I'm going to put the top crust over. Or is that the bottom one? I'm not sure which is which. But then what you do is you brush one side with melted butter to mimic the Cuban bread, because this is a French. I forgot to tell you about the bread. This is just a French baguette, a little wide for a French baguette, but it's just French bread. And I'm just going to. You could also use Italian, probably. That would probably work. I mean, they're pretty much the same. But then you slather one side of the bread with melted butter, and that mimics, I guess, the Cuban bread that is made with lard, and then you wrap it up very tightly, and you want to press it down. And I'm going to be putting this on the grill, and I'm going to be pressing it down with a couple of cast iron pans. I've got an abundance of cast iron, use it all the time, so I'll show you what it looks like after it's put together a little bit more. Okay, so I've layered on the pickles, as you can see. I happen to be a real pickle lover. I mean, I've eaten pickles for lunch. And they're really good with peanut butter, too. Peanut butter pickle sandwiches, those are fabulous. But anyway, so I I layered on the pickles, and I'm going to put the other half of the loaf onto the side, and then I'm going to slather the butter on, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. Okay, so here I've slathered on the butter, as you can see. I'm going to wrap this up very tightly, as I can. I'm going to be very careful because I don't want it to fall apart. After all, this sandwich is one hefty sandwich, so I'm going to have to be very careful with that. But I'll show you when it gets on the grill. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, I've prepared it now. I've wrapped it up very tightly in aluminum foil, several layers, after brushing it with that butter. And I'm going to put it on this grill, and we've got 2 pizza stones on the grill because I don't want it to be burnt. I want it to just get crispy and stuff. I have it on the lowest settings because this grill is piping hot even at the lowest settings. And, excuse me. So I'm going to place it on there, and then I'm going to put a couple of cast iron pans on top of that. And I'll show you how that looks when I'm done. Okay, so I've put the monstrous Cuban, my version sandwich, on the grill on top of the pizza stones. And we've put a couple of cast iron pans on top of that to press it down. I'm going to lower the hood as much as I can. I probably won't be able to close it completely. But it's going pretty good. It's kind of hot. So I am going to have to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't burn, because we want it to be crispy, not burnt. But again, this is that channel. I love to cook. I'm just not that good at it. So we'll see how it comes out. I'll show you. Hey, look, we got it closed. We'll see how it comes out. We'll show you. Okay, so here's the progress that we've made, if you can call it that. I flipped it over because it was after 10 minutes. It was I don't want it to get burnt on the bottom. I just want it to be crispy but not burned, you know? And with sometimes with grills, it's a little bit hard to gauge that. So we turned it over and I put the pans back on to press it down. I used a smaller one as opposed to that one because it fits better. And I'm gonna keep it on there for another maybe 5 or 10 minutes at the most, I think, because from what I've read and seen, a Cuban, if it's when it's pressed and everything, we also lifted up the top because I didn't want it to get too hot inside, and it was showing about 350 degrees. I don't know if that was a wrong thing to do. We'll see. Um, but it's so hot out here. It's like it's the humidity. Honest to God, we live in New Hampshire. It's really humid here in the summer. Except for this summer, it's been great. Except for today and the day before that. It's 95 degrees and humid. The humidity, gosh, they call it the three H's: the hazy, hot, and humid. If you don't live in this area, I don't know that you can understand it. But anyhow, um, that's the that's the progress on my massive Cuban sandwich adventure. I hope you stay with me. I'll be right back. So while we're waiting for the sandwich to continue cooking, I wanted to show you these two chickens. There's the rooster, and then there's the hen. He's going after her. We have a lot of chickens. We have about, how many do we have? 30. We have 30. Sorry for the clothesline. That's what it's like in the sticks, folks. This is what we do. We make dumbass videos with chickens and clotheslines and Cuban sandwiches that I've tried for the first time. I've got other recipes I'm going to try. I hope they work out. I've had a lot that didn't. A lot that went to the chickens, believe me. At least they don't get wasted when they fail. We'll see if this fails. I hope it doesn't, because we're going to eat it anyway. I'll show you. Okay, so this is the done version. This was quite a project. And this is a huge sandwich. So it's not something, I did try to crisp it up on the bottom. It's not a sandwich that you can, just slice up maybe this into quarters and pick it up and eat it because it's very large, it's very big, it's very substantial. However, I think it's a really great sandwich to serve at a potluck or for finger food at parties, something like that. Um, if you wanted to serve it in larger proportions, you might need to use a knife and fork. But I know that typical Cuban sandwiches are not knife and fork. They are pick it up, I need to put it in my mouth with my hands. So I know that that's not what this is, but it certainly looks good. And then when I slice it up and show you what it looks like, I want you to tell me, is it pass or fail? Pass or fail? There's only one or the other. Okay. Okay, so this is the result, the final result. I sliced it up into 4 pieces, and I'm going to slice it up into more. But I wanted you to see how it looked. I want you to see right in here. Look at those layers. Isn't that beautiful? Even that piece of ham hanging out there. What the heck? Pickles. The pickles are making it a little bit slidey. You all know what that means, don't you? But um, it looks and it actually tastes, because I did have a slight taste. I didn't taste, but it looks fantabulous. And you can hold it together if you want to hold it in small pieces and eat it, like a sandwich. But it would also be a great thing to have at a potluck party and just cut it up and, sort of like baklava or something like that. I mean, it's just a fabulous sandwich and it tastes like amazing. The flavors that pop out of it are something else. So, even though this isn't, quote, typical of a Cuban pressed sandwich, because I did make it a little bit more complicated, is it pass or fail? Let me know. And if you give me thumbs down, I want to know why. Because I am curious and I do want to learn. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be posting a bunch